Imagine this. You're hiking through the dense forests of Yosemite, the sun is shining, birds are chirping, when suddenly, you're gone. No scream, no struggle, just vanished. This isn't fiction, it's the chilling reality of Missing 411, where hundreds of people have disappeared across U.S. national parks under impossible circumstances. Some vanish near boulders that weren't there before. Others are found miles away in areas already searched. And the most terrifying part? Authorities have no explanation. Welcome to Deep Dive America, where we uncover the truth behind America's darkest mysteries. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe, because what you're about to hear will change how you see our national parks forever. Today, we're diving into the shocking patterns behind these disappearances. Clusters near water, strange weather phenomena, and cases where victims' clothes were found neatly folded, untouched. By the end of this video, you'll understand why even experts call this the most disturbing mystery on U.S. soil. Let's begin. David Paulides, a former police officer turned investigator, didn't set out to uncover one of America's most haunting mysteries. But while researching disappearances in national parks, he noticed something no one else dared to connect. These weren't just random tragedies. They followed chilling, almost ritualistic patterns that defied logic and demanded attention. After digging through thousands of missing persons reports, Paulides identified 5 eerie red flags that appeared again and again. Victims were often last seen near berry patches or vast boulder fields, strange places with no obvious danger. Children were found miles away from where they vanished, often at elevations so steep and rugged that even experienced hikers struggled to get there, yet the kids showed no injuries. Then there were the bizarre weather events. Sudden fog banks or violent storms would roll in just as search teams arrived, almost like something didn't want them found. Even more unsettling were the clothes. In many cases, missing individuals were later discovered with their clothing neatly folded, far from their bodies with no signs of struggle. And perhaps the most disturbing pattern of all, search dogs, trained to follow scent trails, would sometimes sit down and refuse to track, as if whatever took these people didn't leave a scent at all. One case that highlights this mystery took place in 1958, when 8-year-old Bobby Bishop vanished in Pennsylvania's Allegheny National Forest. Over 2,000 searchers scoured the woods for 3 days with no success. Then, against all odds, his body was found on a 45-degree cliff, naked, unharmed, and clutching berries in his hands. Yet the nearest berry patch was more than a mile away. How did he get there? Why no scratches? Why no sign of a struggle? Bobby's case, like so many others, doesn't fit any logical explanation. It doesn't point to bears or wolves or even simple human error. It hints at something far stranger, something hiding in America's wilderness, watching, waiting, and occasionally taking. Let's break down 3 of the most unsettling disappearances ever recorded, cases that seem to spit in the face of logic, reason, and everything we think we know about nature. It starts with the 1989 disappearance of 3-year-old Jared Atadero in Colorado's Roosevelt National Forest. He was hiking with a church group on a well-used trail, a route that sees plenty of foot traffic, when he vanished without a sound. Searchers combed the area for days, calling his name, scouring every ravine and trail, but nothing turned up. Then, 4 years later, the unthinkable happened. Hikers found pieces of his remains, his skull still perfectly intact, and bits of clothing placed oddly on a boulder. Not shredded, not buried, not torn up like you'd expect from mountain lions or scavengers. No blood. No bones scattered. His shirt and pants appeared to have been washed and folded, set out carefully like someone, or something, wanted them found. Predators don't do laundry. Then there's the case of Dennis Martin, a healthy, energetic 6-year-old who vanished in the Great Smoky Mountains of Tennessee in 1969. He was playing hide-and-seek with his brothers and father in broad daylight. Within seconds, Dennis was gone. What followed was one of the largest search efforts in national park history, involving over 1,400 trained professionals, including special forces. And yet, Not a single clue turned up. No clothing, no body, no trail, nothing. Just silence. But then came a strange report. A witness miles away claimed he saw a hairy man darting through the woods, carrying what looked like a limp child, racing uphill at impossible speed. Authorities brushed it off, but that single account haunts the case to this day. And the final case may be the most chilling of all. Charles McCullough, a 22-year-old photographer and outdoorsman who vanished in 1999 near Oregon's Rogue River while on a solo trek. Months later, searchers found his rifle propped neatly against a tree. Still fully loaded. No signs of panic or struggle. Just a rifle, untouched. Draped over it was his jacket, bone dry despite the torrential rains that had battered the area for days. His body? Gone. No footprints, no gear, no clues. Just silence again. In all three cases, nature's usual rules seemed suspended. These weren't animal attacks. These weren't cases of getting lost or hypothermia. These were surgical vanishings, as if the wilderness had eyes and sometimes it chooses. What ties them together isn't just the lack of evidence, but the presence of something that doesn't make sense. Something that hints at a darker intelligence in the wild, one that knows how to take, how to vanish, and how to leave behind just enough to chill us to the bone. Now we come to the million-dollar question, the one that haunts every investigator, every parent, every search team that walks into the forest and never comes out the same. What's causing these disappearances? Why do people vanish in the most baffling, rule-breaking ways, often with no trace and sometimes with clues so strange they feel scripted by something not of this world? Theory 1 is as controversial as it is compelling. Government involvement. During the Cold War, secretive branches of the military were known to run bizarre experiments. Declassified documents prove that the U.S. government tested early versions of portal or teleportation technology. Where? In remote, uninhabited wilderness areas, including national parks. Some researchers believe those old devices weren't fully decommissioned. What if a few still hum quietly beneath the soil, malfunctioning, opening doorways where none should exist? Then comes Theory 2, steeped in ancient folklore but just as chilling, cryptids. Native American tribes have told stories for centuries about creatures like the Stick Indians, beings that mimic human speech to lure travelers away, or the dreaded skinwalkers, shapeshifters that hunt in silence. These aren't bedtime stories, they're warnings, passed down through generations, and the details, eerily similar to modern missing persons cases, are impossible to ignore. But the theory that's both the most scientifically grounded and the most terrifying involves transient dimensional portals. It sounds like science fiction, but geophysicists have confirmed that many national parks sit on massive quartz and granite deposits, minerals that are known to conduct electromagnetic energy. Some theorists believe this creates what ancient cultures called thin places, locations where the boundary between our world and another becomes fragile, unstable. Under just the right conditions, solar flares, moon phases, or even seismic activity, these thin places might open, swallowing people whole, then spitting them out somewhere else. Or not at all. And then there's the darkest theory, whispered among former rangers and buried deep in suppressed reports. Retired park ranger Steve Cook made headlines when he came forward with a harrowing allegation. Rangers, he claims, are under strict orders to never discuss cases where victims reappear, sometimes years later, but having aged only a few days. Cook says this isn't rare. He says it's covered up. His story matches references found in obscure FBI files that describe chrono-displacement events, cases where people experience time differently or are moved through time itself. It's a theory that sounds insane until you see how many cases involve people vanishing and returning in ways that don't add up. In the end, it's clear that whatever's going on in America's wild places, it doesn't play by our rules. Animal attacks, getting lost, hypothermia, those answers don't scratch the surface. Something else is happening out there, something vast, secret, and deeply unsettling. Here's the part that truly keeps researchers, investigators, and even seasoned park rangers awake at night. The disappearances aren't just continuing, they're accelerating. Before the 1950s, the numbers were strange but manageable. Roughly 20 documented vanishings per decade under mysterious circumstances. But now, that number has skyrocketed to over 200 cases every 10 years, and that's just the ones we know about. What's even more terrifying is that it's no longer limited to remote, treacherous terrain. People are disappearing in broad daylight from crowded campgrounds, marked trails, even roadside picnic spots with other families just feet away. And through all of it, one pattern keeps showing up again and again: water. A 2021 meta-study revealed that a staggering 89% of these vanishings happened within 300 feet of a body of water, whether it's a lake, a creek, or even a shallow stream. That's not coincidence. Some believe water acts as a kind of conduit, a natural gateway for whatever's causing this, be it interdimensional, cryptid, or otherwise. Others point to a more scientific but no less eerie explanation: infrasound. These are ultra-low frequencies below the range of human hearing that can induce anxiety, confusion, even trance-like states. Certain rock formations naturally emit these frequencies, especially near rivers or caverns, which means someone could walk into the woods in a clear state of mind, and within minutes feel disoriented enough to walk off a cliff or into something far worse. The National Park Service officially denies any cover-up, claiming most cases are simple accidents. But internal ranger manuals tell a different story. Phrases like "avoid speculation" are baked into reporting guidelines, orders that effectively muzzle the people on the front lines. That's not standard procedure, that's controlled silence. And if even they're not allowed to ask questions, what does that say about what's really out there? If this story chilled you to the bone or made you rethink that weekend hike, you're not alone. And the rabbit hole goes even deeper. Tap the next video to dive into the Dyatlov Pass incident, often called Russia's Missing 411. 9 experienced hikers torn from their tents, some found barefoot in the snow, others with crushed ribs, missing eyes, and one with her tongue ripped out. Oh, and the kicker? Radiation burns on their clothes. This one makes America's wilderness mysteries look almost tame. And if you're into unraveling the unexplainable, hit subscribe and tap the bell. We dig into a new chilling mystery every Thursday. From ancient ruins to modern vanishings, nothing is off limits. We want to hear from you too. What's your theory? Are these vanishing cases the work of secret military programs, cryptids cloaked in legend, or something we haven't even begun to comprehend? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read everyone. Until next time, remember, the woods are still, silent, and watching.